After cleverly getting involved in a money laundering operation, a humble valet finds himself immersed in a world of quick money, luxury cars, and an unavoidable downfall. Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a 2024 crime thriller titled The Courier. The movie begins with a bustling view of the port of Hong Kong, where cranes are moving containers onto ships. These containers, under tight security, are transported to various locations. Inside one of these containers, along with bundles of cash, we meet our protagonist, Ivan Marquez. Ivan was born in Vallecas and has just turned 30 a few days ago. After a brief security check, he exits the container. The container has been shipped from Spain to Hong Kong, carrying 1.5 billion euros. After the money is counted, Ivan is set to receive a commission of 3% as the courier. A quick calculation reveals that 3% of 1.5 billion is an incredible amount of money. Back in 2010, Ivan was at the peak of his life, but there would always be people who wanted to screw him over. The scene shifts to Ivan at a party, enjoying himself and dancing, when he suddenly notices a police helicopter approaching. In a flashback to 2001, Ivan arrives at a big mansion in a Ferrari, but it turns out he is just a valet parker. Ivan comes home soaking wet from the rain and tells his mother he made 1,000 pesetas in tips. She's happy for him, but reminds him how much his father misses him. Ivan was a young man from a middle-class family who aspired to be successful and live a lavish lifestyle. There was a time when Ivan considered his father his hero. The day he accompanied his father to ask for a loan to open a wedding banquet hall was unforgettable. The business initially thrived, and his father made the most of it. However, Ivan watched his father struggle with the business during Spain's economic crisis in 1993, and he vowed never to end up in a similar situation. After the recession, Ivan's father frequently complained and grumbled in front of the television, which made Ivan dislike him. Ivan worked as a valet, but was always on the lookout for the next business opportunity. Unlike his father, he did not care about sticking to the system. Later, Ivan shares his business plan for the year with his friends to buy a dilapidated apartment and remodel it with the help of his friend's cousin, who works in construction. Once the apartment is complete, they will sell it and split the profits equally. However, none of his friends are interested in his business idea, nor do they have the capital. Ivan suggests taking out a bank loan, but his friends laugh it off. In 2002, Spain shifted from pesetas to euros, which Ivan believes was one of the biggest rip-offs in history. At his job as a valet, Ivan and his friends notice Mr. Launderer, a member of parliament from Brussels, who is extremely drunk. Ivan volunteers to drive the drunk politician to Brussels, and he agrees. Ivan is desperate to know what the man is carrying in his briefcase, and gladly, he has enough time to do it. While the politician slept, Ivan opened his briefcase and saw heaps of cash. He took out a few notes, and when he arrived in Brussels, spoke directly to the woman for whom the politician worked. Ivan argued that he could do a better job than the drunkard, regardless of the type of business they were involved in. He went on to say that the politician was stealing from them, which convinced Anne-Marie to consider Ivan for the job. He was offered 10,000 euros to make a delivery, which he gladly accepted. The next day, Ivan delivers a horse to a man named Francisco Escames, who has bought it as a gift for his daughter Leticia's birthday. When asked, Ivan explains that this is the first delivery he's doing for Anne-Marie. During small talk, Escames tells Ivan that he's also from Vallecas. He continues to explain how he worked at a photocopy shop, but then managed to earn the trust of the city planning councillor by giving him information that could save him. He then shows Ivan framed photos of men who blindly trust him, emphasizing that trust matters the most in this business. Next, Ivan has to deliver a briefcase of cash from Francisco Escames to Anne-Marie. But things are not that easy. On his way, Ivan gets pulled over by the police. Within seconds, the police discover the briefcase full of cash. In a desperate attempt to save himself, Ivan lies that the money is from his apartment that he sold in Madrid to move to Brussels. However, the police officers see right through his lies and bang his head on the car. Ivan then threatens them to call the Spanish consulate, and they let him go. Turns out, the cops also work for Anne-Marie, and she orchestrated the entire incident to test Ivan's trustworthiness. After the delivery is done, Ivan receives his cut of the money, along with a bonus to buy some clothes. Later, Anne-Marie and Ivan go to a bar, where she reveals that she lived in Mexico for 2 years, and that her parents were diplomats, so she has spent her life traveling from place to place. After playing poker and drinking, the two spend the night together. The next day, Ivan gets introduced to Anne's husband, François Letizier, the son of a diamond smuggler and a middleman in foreign currency trafficking. That day, his task was to be a Belgian courier. Ivan was thrilled with his job as a courier. He made tons of money and drove luxury cars. Escalating, also known as Paco, was in charge of laundering money for his influential clients, and François and Anne assisted him. He would give Ivan briefcases full of money that he had to take to Belgium, which was one of the havens of diamond trafficking. After the money arrived in Belgium, their guys staged a diamond purchase to start the laundering process. After completing the process, the funds were sent to the client's Swiss bank accounts. That's how the dirty money becomes clean. Later, as Paco and Letitia are bird shooting, we find out that Paco was the link between the Belgian scheme and the Spanish clients. He would meet and spend time with businessmen, bankers, politicians, and developers. One thing they had in common was that some of them rezoned state land and approved urban development plans, while others granted loans at very low interest rates. Escalating collected all the dirty money and charged his 3% commission before sending it to Belgium. It is then revealed that all the initial capital used for the business comes from taxpayers. Later, Ivan strikes up a conversation with Letitia, but Paco isn't happy about it and warns Ivan to leave her alone. Fast forward to Geneva, 2003. Ivan meets Anne at a restaurant where she tells him that since Belgium is no longer safe, they have found a new partner in Geneva. Ivan delivers a courier of 14 million, after which they notice a rather unlikely couple. But Anne jokingly says that what the guy has in his briefcase makes everything likely. Ivan then joins Anne to finish up the business, claiming he wants to learn more. Soon, they arrive at a building where Ivan is introduced to Mr. Stoffel, their partner, who has created a perfect system in his local branch office for laundering money and doing parallel bookkeeping in exchange for a 3% commission. Later, while talking to his mom, Ivan notices the same guy he saw at the restaurant. He quickly realizes José Luis Ocana is married and was having an affair with the woman in the restaurant. Ivan patiently waits for him to return to the restaurant with a plan to install cameras in his room and blackmail him. He bribes one of the cleaners to enter Ocana's room, but the restaurant security officer Yannick catches him red-handed. It turns out Yannick is equally crooked, and all he wants is a cut of Ivan's profits. Yannick helps Ivan install the cameras, and the video evidence they obtain is embarrassing enough to blackmail Ocana. Ivan feels Yannick could be a fantastic partner because he is physically powerful, has the necessary contacts, speaks several languages, and is the king of parties. The two spend a carefree night drinking and enjoying themselves. Later, Ivan meets Anne and tells her that his mother has been insisting he go visit her. Anne tells him he can take all the time he needs since family is important. She then gifts him a watch, claiming a person's watch and shoes say everything about them. After that, Ivan and Yannick arrive at Ocana's event in Marbella and show him the footage, giving him the option of either publicly humiliating himself by speaking with the police or cooperating with them. They want to move money from Spain to Switzerland and propose opening a branch in Marbella, for which they want Ocana's help. Although Ocana is reluctant at first, he eventually agrees to the terms. Ocana introduces them to the urban planning counselor, the health counselor, and the real estate developer in exchange for deleting the video. Initially, Ivan wasn't aware of it, but the event was being closely watched by the UDEF, the Financial and Fiscal Crimes Unit, and that's when Head Inspector Roig first caught wind of Ivan. Soon, with Ocana's support and backing, Ivan, who wanted to be more than just a courier, explains how the business works to the important people of Marbella. Ocana also convinces them that, since discretion and prudence are no longer among Escalating's virtues, Ivan's offer is safe and that he's trustworthy. Later, Ivan meets Anne and tells her all about his new business venture, but her only concern is that Escalating won't be happy with a newcomer stealing his clients. Ivan, who is clearly indifferent, claims there's plenty of money for everybody and promises not to bother Escalating's clients. After spending an intimate night together, Ivan asks Anne not to go, but she leaves, claiming she has to spend Christmas with her family. Ivan arrives in Madrid in 2004 to see his family and shows them the presents he got for them. However, his father isn't pleased and asks what he does for a living. He continues digging even after Ivan tells him that he runs an import and export business with some people in Brussels, and the two end up in a heated argument. Later that night, Ivan meets with his old friends, who are now doing the business of remodeling houses as Ivan suggested. Time passes, money keeps flowing in, and Ivan's business thrives as he keeps getting more clients. During one of his meetings, he runs into Escames and Letitia. Escames is angry that Ivan is taking away his clients and warns Ivan that there will be consequences. Afterward, Escames sends some men to intimidate Ivan and Yannick to show that they had no right to do business in his territory. Instead of fleeing, Ivan chooses to confront Escames and assures him that he will not pursue any of Francisco's clients. He also offers him a 30% split of the business from Marbella, and Escames gladly accepts the offer. During this time, Ivan makes a lot of money and develops a certain sense of arrogance. When Anne asks him to change his behavior, he becomes furious. He brought in the most business, and he believed it was enough to earn everyone's respect. Anne added that Francois was tipped off about the ongoing investigation into Escames, and she warned Ivan to stay away for some time. But Ivan ignored her advice and instead planned to expand his business even more. Later, Ivan notices undercover cops outside a party. He approaches them and asks to be taken to their boss. He is taken to the police station and officially introduced to Inspector Manuel Roig, the man in charge of the inquiry. Ivan agrees to help the authorities and provides additional information on Escames. In exchange, he demands safety and is assured that he will be protected. Ivan realizes he needs a reliable alibi to prove he did not inform the police about Escames. He decides to take Letitia to Paris for a week-long date. He buys her everything she asks for, including a ring to show his devotion to her. Even though her father opposes her relationship with him, Letitia assures that she is old enough to make her own decisions. After learning about Escames' imprisonment on television, Letitia decides to return to Madrid. She has no idea that Ivan is responsible for her father's arrest. When Ivan returns to Madrid, she finds him sleeping with strangers and realizes that it was all a lie. After Escames goes to jail, Ivan suggests taking care of his clients until he is released. However, Anne and Francois believe it is a bad idea to launder money because the authorities are following them. Ivan decides to spend all of his remaining money partying in Madrid. When he ran out of money, Ivan returned home. His father had died, and his mother needed his help more than ever. Despite being back in his hometown, he continued to hunt for business opportunities and eventually discovered the Chinese mafia. Ivan learns more about Yao Ming from Okana. Ming deals with dirty money and regularly smuggles it into China. They use outdated methods and frequently get caught. Ivan meets with Anne again to discuss a potential agreement with Yao Ming. The problem is, getting money into Switzerland has become nearly impossible. Additionally, their clientele prefers cash, making it difficult to transfer funds back to Spain. Ivan proposes a solution to move the money stuck in Switzerland to Yao's Chinese accounts, and in exchange, Yao would pay Ivan in cash in Spain. Both sides like the idea and agree to the arrangement. Anne and Ivan are celebrating their progress when Escames suddenly approaches their table. After Ivan cheated on Letitia, Escames figured out that Ivan had been the one who ratted on him. The judge had dismissed the case against Escames, and now that he is out of prison, he is clearly seeking revenge on Ivan. It is also revealed that Feliciana, a software engineer working for Jacques Stoffel, was the one who leaked a list of secret bank accounts in Switzerland. Stoffel and Francois fled with whatever money they had left. Ivan and Anne realize they are in serious trouble because most of their clients are on that list. As the police pursue them, they try to escape, but suddenly, men working for their Chinese client appear and take them hostage. The men took them both to Yao Ming, who was also in trouble because the police were after him. Ming thought Ivan had informed the police about him and wanted to kill him and Anne before any more secrets could come out. As Yao was about to shoot Ivan, he quickly came up with a plan. He offered to smuggle Yao's money for him. Since Ivan needed to leave the country, he suggested hiding in a container full of cash and transporting all of Yao's money from Spain to Hong Kong. This plan was risky, but it was the only way Ivan could escape and help his client. Additionally, if Ivan ended up in Hong Kong, Yao wouldn't have to worry about him dealing with the police. Ivan reached Hong Kong safely and was happy about his success, but suddenly, police officers showed up and arrested him. He was sent back to Spain, and he knew his only chance was to find a good lawyer who could help him get a shorter prison sentence. Manuel Roig, the lawyer, thought Ivan might get at least 15 years in prison for what he did. Ivan attempted to bribe the police inspector, but he was disappointed to find out the inspector was honest and couldn't be bought. Ivan discovered that Anne-Marie had told the police about him to save herself, which led to him being caught in Hong Kong. Ivan understood why she did it and believed he would have done the same in her place. Later on, Yao Ming was also caught by the police. The movie ends with Ivan being sent to prison, where he finally realizes that his father had been right all along. In an interview, he confessed that money corrupts people, and he had become a victim of it himself. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.